The Minnesota legislature assists with the creation of many task forces and groups. One of those is the Minnesota Youth Council. While created in 2005, it was made official by the 2013 Minnesota legislature. Here to discuss just what that means, we have Aimee Vue. Aimee, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, for sure.
Aimee, you're a senior in high school right now, but you're also, as a part of this group, why don't you explain to me why it's important for youth to even have a voice here at the Capitol?
Right, yeah, so young people comprise of 50.5% of the world's population according to the United Nations. And so kind of going with that, it's crazy to think that young people comprise of a lot of the world's population. And so with that, I think it's really great that young people should have a voice at the Capitol because we need to be heard. We are a part of that population. These bills, these policies, decisions are being made for us. But when young people aren't at the table, I think it'd be great to just have their voices heard.
I want to ask you, having your voice heard by legislators is one thing, but very few of you are eligible to vote. So how serious do you think lawmakers take your group and other youth groups in particular when you do come to the table with issues and ideas?
Right. I think if we come together as a large group, you know, kind of the whole in numbers thing, I think it really does, like, you do hear us. There are things like Youth Day at the Capitol where it's a whole day for young people to come rally about issues that they care about. Legislators are really receptive to that, and I think kind of when we come in numbers and we come and we talk seriously and we are, you know, we have our research, we have everything done, they do take us seriously.
The Minnesota Youth Council did recently survey students statewide to discover their key concerns. Why don't you explain to us what those concerns are and what you hope to do with those findings here at the Capitol?
Right. Yeah, so last year the Youth Council conducted a research all across the state of Minnesota with about 1,000 results coming back in each congressional district. All across the board, we found that from the results came that 3 big issues came up all across each congressional district of crime, safety, and gangs, drug and alcohol abuse, and bullying. And so it was just really fascinating to see how different each congressional district is, but we still face the same issues.
And so what do you do with those findings? How do you bring them here to the Capitol, and how do you know if true change actually comes from your concerns?
Right, so kind of with that, we have different committees within the council to really work on the policy side or the philanthropy side. And so we have a few projects within the Youth Council, but with our policy side, we really, this year, because we are an official committee for the legislature, we really want to look into different policies that are going to be affecting youth. I know our bullying statute here in Minnesota isn't that great, and so that's something that we're really looking forward to working with legislators to really create that bullying policy, or just trying to create a youth omnibus bill of like different things that affect young people. And so we're just kind of coming together to really get these policy things changed and trying to see how that'll affect young people in the future.
And Aimee, you obviously have a lot of enthusiasm. What do you think some of the benefits are of having a council and people like you as a part of that council, as opposed to maybe just a group that meets primarily over social media?
Right, so I think it's really great because you get to hear different perspectives. You don't just have those like Democrats and Republicans. It's a really cool conversation that we get to have, to come together and have this like council and this committee that meets and has these different perspectives to come and talk about these issues that are really important to all of us. And so I think it's a lot better that we have this rather than some social media thing, because we actually do come together and we do talk about these things to create effective change.
And what's the reaction been with lawmakers to many of you in this group?
Yeah, they've been really receptive. I tweet and I Facebook my legislators, and it's just been a really cool way of like getting to know them and kind of being a part of the community and being able to represent those that I represent on like the youth side, and kind of relaying those issues back in my community to my legislator.
My last question for you, Aimee, is given the fact that obviously most of you in this group will move on, graduate, go to college or something, and then eventually get a job, do you think sometimes lawmakers might say, hey, if we can just smile and nod and make them think we're going to facilitate some change, eventually they'll forget? Or are you real cognizant about passing the torch down so that nothing falls off the table or off the radar?
When we look at that, we really want to create sustainable change, and I think this idea of like passing the torch is really great. But we do want to set those who are kind of like the spearheads. We really want to take that and make sure that there's a foundation built to have these policies changed, to build these relationships with our legislators, to get things really going for, I guess, the next year and the year after that, and for all those really passionate young people to come in and have all these policy changes made, and really keep up with the issues that young people are, facing, and making sure policies are made for them.
Okay, Aimee Vue, thank you so much. It's truly been a pleasure having you here in the studio. We appreciate it.
Yep, likewise.